Part 2 of What If Luffy, Zoro and Sanji was sent back in time. Sanji looked at the 40-plus man that was staring at Luffy, Zoro, and him before he suddenly let out a bit of his conqueror haki at them. Suddenly all of their body was seen on the ground. Sanji calmly take a cigarette and a lighter from his pocket before lighting it and taking a big puff. I am feeling quite hungry, Sanji said as he started looking around. Suddenly 5 cannibals were seen heading for the ship the monster trio was on. Luffy raised his head as he immediately activated his second gear and jumped in the air as he punched and kicked the incoming cannibals that were heading for the ship. Suddenly a massive marine ship was seen heading toward them. Guys, get ready, this will be our first bounty, Luffy said, but suddenly his stomach growled, and when he looked behind him, he saw Sanji with a crate of apples. Here it is, Luffy said as he ran over to the apple and started eating it. Sanji, throw 2 over here, Zoro said as he raised his hands and immediately caught 2 apples and started eating them. After a minute the trio didn't find themselves hungry again. Suddenly a massive shadow covered them, causing them to slowly raise their head to see the massive marine ship. Grab onto me, Zoro, Luffy said as he shot himself onto the marine ship, while Sanji threw away his cigar and used skywalk to jump up onto the ship. Luffy, Zoro and Sanji stood in front of 10,000 marine and 10 Commodore. Looks like we'll have to teach these guys a lesson. They won't forget, Luffy said, a grin spreading across his face. Zoro unsheathed his 3 swords, his eyes narrowed with determination. I'm ready for them. Sanji lit a cigarette and exhaled slowly, his hands in his pockets. Let's do it. Luffy launched himself forward, his body moving at lightning speed. He landed a devastating punch on several of the marines, sending them flying into the air. Zoro followed, using his swords to take down dozens of marines with a single blow. Sanji spun around, his leg lashing out to kick several of the marines into submission. The marines continued to charge forward, their numbers seeming to never end. But the 3 pirates didn't lose heart, continuing to fight with all their might. Luffy's body began to glow red, his Gear 2 mode giving him an incredible boost in strength. He spun around, his fist slamming into the ground and creating a shockwave that knocked dozens of marines off their feet. Zoro's swords glowed with a bright aura, his haki enhancing his abilities to the point where he was cutting through entire groups of marines with ease. Sanji's kicks became faster and more powerful, taking down multiple marines at once as he moved with incredible speed. Despite the overwhelming numbers of the marines, the trio fought on, their wills unbroken. They were determined to come out on top, no matter what the cost. As the battle raged on, a group of 10 marine commodores stepped forward to take on the 3 pirates. But they were no match for the power of Luffy, Zoro and Sanji. With a final, devastating blow, the 3 pirates unleashed their full power, sending the commodores flying through the air and knocking them out cold. Panting heavily, the trio stood their ground, the battle won. The marines retreated, leaving the pirates victorious. Looks like we showed them who's boss, Luffy said, grinning from ear to ear. Zoro sheathed his swords, a satisfied look on his face. We make quite the team. Sanji lit another cigarette, his smirk evident even in the dim light. I'd say we're pretty damn unstoppable.